Here is a moment in time in the history of the AFL. Absolutely awesome.
You're watching the Outer Sanctum.
Do we want to talk about ticketing issues around finals? I mean, I find anyone talking about ticketing issues around finals about as interesting as hearing about someone's dream or someone's workout. Like, it is a special kind of hell that I have no interest in addressing.
I find it's the time of the year when those people that you don't talk to all year come out of the woodwork and go, "Hey, buddy, you got any contacts?" It's like, what kind of contact would any of us have? Like, seriously, like
No, we're no one.
we don't sit on the inner, we sit on the outer.
Yeah,
like,
we're no one. Especially
exactly.
you.
You know, I think we should talk about it because I feel like it's a bit of a public service. I feel like what I want to say is, don't leave things to chance, people. Who are these people that don't synchronise their watches with the world clock and work out how much time you've got before you get timed out of Ticketek? Like, there are processes that you can go through.
I can
and I
vouch
feel
for
like
this.
That is exactly who you are. That is your whole personality. That should be written under your star sign.
This is what I'm going to say, having worked at the desk next to her, there's like a 40-minute run-up where she's got all the barcodes or the membership numbers there cut and pasted into Word documents. There is no leaving anything to chance.
have I ever missed out on a ticket?
No.
No.
See,
But you have aged.
I love that. I love that. So you can always spot the Hawthorn supporter because they've planned to take their annual leave for the week leading up to the final series so that they can actually spend time, because you actually do need to take a full week off work to get tickets.
Absolutely.
And I'm sort of opposed to the idea of cloning. You know, that remember when they cloned Dolly the sheep? But the one exception is, I reckon, when it comes to finals week, it would be good to have another one of me with my barcodes.
So one's on the mobile, one's on
Yes.
the PC.
Yeah, one's on the
One's in a queue.
iPad, one's standing in a queue at Brashes.
I will say this, standing in the queue outside Brashes or at the
wherever it
MCC,
is.
sleeping out for tickets is my favourite type of camping trip.
Is it?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I take the billy.
Make some damper.
Do you know what? We've actually nailed it. We know what we're doing. You take the
Banana
lounge, a sleeping bag, a pillow, some headphones,
Definitely headphones.
and a sleeping tablet. Wake up in the third quarter, find out Hawthorn's won, and that's the season.
I really think we need to talk about chairing off this week because there's been quite a lot of discussion around it. I saw a lot of different combinations this week. I saw the inter-club, Hawthorn Bulldogs. I saw the intra-club, Rewalt and Rewalt. And then there was the postponed.
Did they hold it over?
Well, they had to. Sam Mitchell and Matt Prittis. All of a sudden they're playing finals,
Yeah.
so couldn't chair them off.
I actually really struggle with the whole concept of chairing off. Like, there's been all of that discussion about whether Jack Rewalt should have chaired off Nick Rewalt, which I think is ridiculous. But I actually just can't get past the fact that they're still referring to it as chairing off because there's no chair. And like, I can't move conceptually. I can't move beyond.
You want like a Jewish wedding type
Exactly,
scene.
a
You want
Russian Orthodox.
actual chairs.
Yeah, like, you know, that opening scene of the deer hunter that goes for like an hour where that's what you want. Otherwise, just call it something else, do something else.
The one that you used to do like that.
Oh,
The emergency.
The emergency
Yes.
one that you used to do, you'd learn it in first aid.
yeah.
And so you're not actually up on shoulders, you're just holding them.
No, I don't think that's a good. I think if you're chaired off, it's a good ending. If you stretch it off,
completely different.
completely, and different end to that story.
Completely. You know, Bristol didn't get chaired off in his last game because they didn't win. And I have to say, there's something about that I quite like. You know, the image of Lee Matthews getting chaired off in his last game and he's crying because of his last game, but also they lost. So it's kind of this double-edged sword where you go like, it's a tad awkward.
Well, then I've got an idea. You stretcher them off if they lose and you chair them off if they win.
Lee Matthews, I think,
maybe.
was actually crying though because when they chaired him off, they'd sort of caught some of those thigh hairs in between their hands, and he was getting like a little home wax on the way off.
I will say this about the West Coast Eagles. They made a huge song and dance about the final game, not of Prittis, not of Mitchell, Did you see what they had on their jumpers? A picture of
Oh.
Subiaco. They
I
had a
know.
Subiaco jumper. They were way more concerned about saying goodbye to the stadium than the champions of the game. And I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I was like, you can't cheer off a stadium.
Well, especially when they actually took the chairs off last week.
Well, that's the cheering off that they did.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Well, there's only one answer to halftime entertainment. It's an Australian act. It's called John Farnham. It should be him every year. He loves it in the round.
Actually, you know what I think the no-brainer is? I reckon musical theatre.
Like Western Bulldogs, you could have West Side Story.
I mean, it might be a few years before The Lion King.
And make the actual halftime entertainment a musical about a specific player. Like you could have the Paddle Pop Lion King and it could be a tribute to Cameron Ling.
David King and I.
I don't think they should get a band. I think they should have a battle between the mascots.
You mean the people in the costumes?
No, the actual animals. So like hawk versus a cat or swan versus a dog in their natural habitat.
What about the Dockers? And where are they going to find a giant? Hey, did you end up putting that audition tape into the AFL for the grand final halftime entertainment?
I sure did.
So what did you choose?
Well, I went with an old classic. Up there, Cazelli, in there and far.
Okay. Celine, don't do Mike Brady.
So I think we need to talk this week about Dusty Watch and the fact that cameras are following him to New Zealand and following him everywhere he goes. I mean, how do you feel about this?
I don't actually know why he needs a security guard. Does he not just straight arm them?
Good point. They're never going to get an answer out of anyone between the car and the airport. That's what I think.
It would be an interesting kind of strategy though, like if you decided you had a big announcement and you actually thought, I know, I'll do it on my doorstep or I'll do it. Like, what a novel idea, like between the car and the, yeah, I like that idea.
There is one advantage, I think, to having a film crew follow you though, is you know where you've parked the car.
Yep. Do you take a photo?
Yeah.
I do.
I always do now at the airport.
Same. I'm unhappy about them following him to New Zealand, but I reckon there's only one circumstance in which it's appropriate. If he's found the precious and is taking it to Mordor, I want the cameras following Dusty, because I reckon Dusty Martin would do that too. But otherwise, I think it's just not on.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. If Dusty is going into the Eye of Mordor to deliver the ring...
The precious.
The precious. You know who his Samwise is? It's Trent Cotchin.
Oh, yeah.
They're such a little team. Oh, bless.
Sam Gamgee.
Okay. Samwise
Gamgee.
Gamgee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, bless them.
Really good planning, I thought, to have a round off before the finals so that players can go and have redundant organs removed.
I know.
Fancy that, like they're trying to get an appendix out and back on the ground in time for the following week.
Mind you, quite visionary by the AFL though to see ahead into the future to know that Rory Sloane would need his appendix out.
Exactly.
It's really impressive.
Will there be a
Exactly.
time where you're just sucking on the green whistle and they just whip the appendix out on the side of the ground? So just keyhole.
Yes.
Get him on the bike for a
Magic
quarter.
spray,
Back on.
bit of hemorrhoid cream.
Put a
somewhere.
tampon on it.
Yeah, whatever they
Stick
do.
tampons up their noses.
It's all very like MASH, isn't it?
It's very MASH 4077.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of having the bye though?
I hate the buy round, and I blame Ross Lyon. Like, it's just the biggest knee-jerk reaction from the AFL to say, you know, Ross Lyon, you know, we're going to punish you. You know, you're going to rest those players. From now on, we're having a buy round. And I really hate it. I feel like it just gives everyone the chance to pack, you know, to get back to the pack.
As you know, I get very nervous when it comes to finals, and I think it's really unfair on fans because during the final series, my heart rate tends to be at about 150 BPMs
The whole
the
time.
whole week. Like I check it on my little watch, and so then it just drags it out for an extra week. I think it's a massive health hazard.
The only reason why I don't like the buy round is because then it pushes the finals out to October. So then when you sing One Day In,
I know.
may as well call the whole thing off.
So you think it's going to put Mike Brady out of a job?
You can't have finals without Mike Brady.
What does he do the rest of the year?
I think he lives in like a little cuckoo clock, and he's in behind the little thing, and then just at finals time he just pops out.
Either that or he spends the year practicing for, one day in October.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't want to make a
He's
mistake.
probably spent like 4 years trying to work out what rhymes with October.
What rhymes with orange? Nothing. What rhymes with October? Orange.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. We're here with AFLW superstars Mel Hickey, Katie Brennan. Thanks so much for being with us.
No worries.
Tell us a little bit about what the AFLW inaugural season has meant to you guys. What's it been like?
I guess it was a dream come true, probably. It probably exceeded my expectations in terms of how much everyone got around it, and we were here for that very first game and to look around at the crowd and just kept saying, this is full, and then the whispers kind of went around that there was a lockout, and then as a player to be able to play kind of at the highest level on the best grounds against the best players, it was just everything you could dream it to be, I guess, and to almost get that glimpse of being a semi-professional athlete and having all the fantastic facilities and coaches and access to vision. I think we really felt like we thrived in that environment.
What was it like for you, Katie?
It was, I guess, a little bit of a bittersweet year for me in terms of injury, but to take the positives out of it, I guess this first experience being here, watching our close mates running around with a lockout crowd, and we were actually pretty emotional that day, knowing that we were going to run out and play the next day, but also that we'd finally arrived to this final destination where it actually meant something. We were playing for premiership points, and it was just such an amazing feeling. I remember Darcy having an absolute blinder on this ground, and then the next day running out onto Whitten Oval in front of 10,000, and it was
All to see you.
Sorry,
All there to watch you guys.
Yeah, just a dream come true. And I think the final, like after the siren, just doing the lap and going around and seeing friends and family and people that you knew in the crowd, it was pretty surreal. And then also being injured, I got to sort of sit back and see how much of an impact it was making on the community, and how many people were so inspired by AFL Women's and the role models they had running around on the field.
Yeah, I mean, the ripple effects feel like they've been enormous. For you guys personally, though, how's it changed your life? Mel?
Well, I guess I'm working in footy now, and I've kind of pioneered my career so that I can train as much as possible. So, I guess I call myself a footballer first now rather than something else, which is pretty amazing.
Massive.
And just had access to so many fantastic opportunities and met so many different people. And
One of the things that we've done on our podcast this year, which you've both seen, I think, is something that we call carpool karaoke.
Oh, no.
So
Please don't
I'm
make us
not
sing.
going to put you on the spot.
Great.
Don't worry.
Or me.
But what would be your choice for a karaoke song?
Feeling free that you won't actually have to do it just
No.
yet.
No.
probably Valerie by Amy Winehouse.
Yeah,
It's
good
a
one.
fantastic
Good
song.
one.
Great choice.
Hit those notes.
Mine might be something Beyonce, anything Beyonce. Can smash her out, yeah.
What are the chances of us getting you to do a karaoke? Oh, you
Melissa
reckon?
would.
Really?
I'd have
You'd
to
be
be
good at
drunk
it.
though.
We can arrange that. Totally arrange that.
I'm a bit too shy. I'd do it I didn't know you guys were there, but
Oh, it's a day. We are so set. We are going to make this happen.
Perfect. Lock it in. I'll send you a calendar invite.
Well, thanks for having your chat for us. It's great to see you, and good luck for next season.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all
Cheers.
the best. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.